Um, when I first found out who our president-elect was, I was instantly surprised. I was shocked. It was unbelievable. To me, it felt like it was like a bad dream. It was a lot of fear that I had. And that's exactly the way that I can really only describe it is it feels exactly like how it does like in a bad dream when you're about to wake up and you've just got that fear and then your body wakes you up. But this time I wasn't going to wake up. And so that's exactly how it felt. And then since then, I've just been trying to really not think too much about it. When I see stuff on the news, I just try to kind of like turn my head and because it's still unbelievable. It's still incredibly shocking. I don't want it to be real. It doesn't seem like it should be, like it is. I I think that maybe so many women voted for him, white women in particular voted for him just because I don't know. They're probably a little racist. I would say they're probably a little racist. My mom, I mean, I don't think I wouldn't consider her to be a racist person, but she says some kind of racist things and has some kind of racist thoughts. And so I think a lot of women, middle aged women, or um, middle aged white women in particular, I feel like they are a little bit racist without realizing it. And just have some not good views on people of color in particular. I think that they are misinformed when it comes to where he stands with women's rights. And to me, I don't understand why they are misinformed because just based off of what he has blatantly said himself, like it is on recording, it is on tape, what he said, but they still support him. That doesn't make sense to me. So I guess just misinterpreting where he stands and what he's saying. I just feel like they really don't understand or don't really think about what's being said.
Old. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
There's a couple things that concern me about Donald Trump being a president. Obviously, some of them would be, just the things that he's been saying towards minorities and, people of different backgrounds and religions and things like that. I think that's kind of concerning for somebody who's president of the United States to be talking that way. But besides that, there's a couple things that also concern me about his policies. I think I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about what he's going to do as far as the economy. I know he's a businessman and a lot of people have faith in that, but something's just telling me that he's not really looking out for our best interests just because he is a billionaire already and, his eye is definitely in big business and not necessarily with the people, at least in my opinion.
Let's see, we have massive income and wealth inequality. We have 43 million people living in poverty. We have to deal with climate change, which is threatening the existence of the planet. And he's talking about 3 people who might burn the American flag.
Another big thing that concerns me about Donald Trump as president would definitely be that he doesn't really seem to take anything too seriously as far as climate change and the environment and things like that. Throughout his past as a businessman and as a politician, he's shown very little regard for climate change, care for the environment, anything like that. He actually even denies that climate change is like an actual thing up until recently. Now he's a little bit more, willing to willing to accept that it's real. But for a while there, he was just in denial about climate change. So I think that's kind of concerning, just based off all the hardcore scientific evidence that there is for it. Once again, it just kind of shows as an example of him just kind of thinking with his pockets rather than with what's right.
what's scary is that you've got 77% of the country is either women, people of color, or young adults from 18 to 35. That's 77% of the country. So you have a minority, a man, a white man, over the age of 35, somebody who represents the minority of the country, is now in charge. And he has said throughout the whole campaign what he's going to do to them. He has screamed into microphones, I'm going to deport 2 million of you. We'll start with you, the criminals, the 2 million of you who are criminals in the first couple weeks. I think they're justifiably scared, and maybe if you're not of that group, you don't understand that. But I heard it out there in the street, and it was intense. And I was very proud of the fact that so many young people came out, because his presidency has to be opposed right now. His presidency started 2 days ago. That's the attitude people have to have.
Well, to be honest, throughout history, I think that protests are not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if Martin Luther King Jr. didn't protest, if Cesar Chavez didn't protest, we wouldn't have a lot of the positive change in this country that we have today. You know, it's not necessarily a bad thing like people make it out to be. I think there's a difference between protesting and rioting. And I could see, you know, why people are a little bit skeptical about rioting, because that's not necessarily constructive. But I definitely think that protest can be a positive thing, and definitely has been. I don't see anything wrong with the protests, and I think it's actually really cool that so many people are willing to exercise their free speech and get their voice heard and let it be known that they're not okay with it. And to all the Trump supporters that are telling people just to get over it, what I would tell them is that it's kind of different this time around. You know, obviously conservatives and Republicans had a problem with Obama when he took office, but I think it's different this time around just because of all of the hateful comments that Donald Trump has said. I think people are kind of starting to realize that, you know, they're not okay with someone running their country who is just so wrong and backwards when it comes to his views on people. It's just crazy to me.
And like people think someone like that is worthy enough to run our country and to like have control over certain things that we're allowed to do and not allowed to do. So it was like really, I was really upset and like shocked that people allowed that to happen. Like people were okay with that and like wanted that enough to vote for him and have him win. I don't think Hillary Clinton was a nice option for the Democratic Party, but compared to like Trump and what he wants to do and everything, I think she was the better option, but it's too late now.
I think that it's going to be even hard to explain to our kids that, hey, this is our president and this is who we should look up to, because you teach kids, like, you know, the president's great. That's a great position that you want to have. That's where you want to be one day. You know, you want to strive. And the president of the United States, that's amazing. So how are we going to even, like, explain to our kids that, yeah, this guy who says these terrible things and does these terrible things is our president? Oh, and then his supporters, they also do these terrible, nasty things. That's not teaching kids anything good. Because you can say nasty things, you can act terribly, and still become the president of the United States. And that's just not a good example for kids, period. So I am concerned about the youth as well. I don't know, it's scary where things are going.